Did you know that the information being given to students today is far different from what they were taught in the past, and what would have been considered essential back then is no longer essential now? Please raise your right hand if you knew this. Although the No Child Left Behind Act is a well-intended federal law that seems beneficial because students all around the country are now passing tests, it is not. Because of the No Child Left Behind Act, school funding is now driven towards test-related subjects and does not address core issues of poor student learning. Students are now purposely being taught how to write bad merely to pass the test. Is simply passing standardized tests more important than child's education? For those of you who think that passing standardized tests is more important than child's education, then today's your lucky day. If you do not agree with this, then I hope my speech changes your mind, because today I will be addressing the negative impacts the No Child Left Behind Act has caused. The main focus of the No Child Left Behind Act is to raise academic achievement by requiring schools to focus on the core subjects that students will be tested on. This may sound great, but in reality it is not. According to the U.S. Department of Education, the No Child Left Behind Act is a landmark in education reform designed to improve student achievement and the change of culture of America's schools. The goal of schools now is to ensure that students are trained to focus only on tests rather than other important subjects such as history and art. According to Accountability, Inequality, and Achievement, the effects of the No Child Left Behind Act on multiple measures of student learning from the Russell Sage Foundation Journal of Social Sciences by the authors Jennifer Jennings and Douglas Lee. Teaching to test refers to activities intended to increase test scores more than students. So this basically means that students are now just being tested to teach. So for example, during the school year, you may cover like 10 different topics, but when it comes to the test, you only focus on like maybe 3 or 4 of those topics because your goal is to pass, not to actually learn everything. So now basically the priority is to memorize answers to passing tests and actually learning and gaining deeper knowledge of the subject. And this is unfair because some students may be really bad test takers, but they're actually really smart. They just get nervous when it comes to tests. And these students who receive a bad score, who are good students, can be affected negatively. They may suffer with anxiety, depression, or their self-esteem may just go down. According to the No Child Left Behind Act and teaching and learning languages in U.S. schools, most Americans believe that decisions about education should be made by the local level other than people who are not qualified, and also that English and mathematics tests don't determine how smart you are, because if you're only tested in English and math, you don't take other subjects that you may really be good at in consideration. For example, if you're really good at history but get tested only in math, you may be considered a bad student, but it's just because you're being tested on a subject you're not as good at. So if you were tested in everything, it would be better. So this basically just means that being tested in 2 subjects does not determine if you're smart or not. Students from public schools that are affected by the No Child Left Behind Act now arrive to college unprepared and without the ability to think and write analytically as broadly as students should. So I conducted a survey, and everyone in this class attended a public school, and 68% of the people in this class would want their child to attend a public school. This statistical information is important because students who attend public schools are the ones who are being affected by this. And everyone in here, I'm not saying that you have been affected, but you may have been affected by the No Child Left Behind Act. And for those of you who want your child to attend a public school may also be affected by this too. Kenneth Bernstein, a retired high school teacher, explains why he believes college freshmen struggle in their college classes because of the No Child Left Behind Act. Bernstein also explains that test scores serve as the sole measure of a student's performance and teacher's evaluation. He states, there is no consideration of grammar or rhetoric, nor is credit given for a score reduced based on the format of the answer. Thus, a teacher might prepare the student to answer those questions in a format that is not good writing up any standard. So he basically confessed that himself as a teacher has taught his students how to practice bad writing to cover certain points on a rubric. For example, I took AP English Language and AP Literature in high school, and I passed both classes with an A. And I thought college was going to be easy because of that, but it turns out it's not. In high school, I was only taught to cover points on a prompt. When I got here, I realized that it's not just following the prompt. You have to, well, the prompt is really important in it, but you also have to make sure your grammar is correct, your punctuations are good, and we never really covered that. We just had to cover points. Bernstein, the high school teacher I previously mentioned, also discusses the very little impact the teachers have, and that public school teachers are not to blame for students arriving to college unprepared. So basically, the people who are in charge of like the school board are not teachers themselves. They can be like maybe people who are really involved in politics. So although they're important people and they're really smart, they don't really have the education or like the background to know what students need in school. It's kind of like putting like an average person, like anyone in this class, who doesn't really know nothing about like medicine or health. It's like to put one of us as like the director of a hospital. We wouldn't know what to do. We'll just tell someone, oh, give them antibiotics, even though they have a virus, and that wouldn't help them. So it's unfair that people who are unqualified are in charge of our education now because of the No Child Left Behind Act. According to the article, 19 No Child Left Behind Pros and Cons for the United States as a whole, the No Child Left Behind Act has brought about a general improvement in test scores since it was first passed in 2002. So the article claims that test scores have been improved since the act was passed, but a lot of people argue that that may just be a coincidence and not actually has to do with the act itself. Although the test scores have been improving, there has been more cons by it than pros. Coming to an end, the No Child Left Behind Act has caused a lot of controversy since it was first passed in 2002. Students now mainly focus on test subjects, and teachers who are in charge of a child's education are outraged because they are constantly ignored. A lot of people want to see the benefits of the No Child Left Behind Act because they have improved scores overall. I do not think the No Child Left Behind Act is going anywhere anytime soon, but I hope it truly changes in order to benefit the future of our future leaders. And some ideas I've had to change this is maybe starting a petition to our government to change the No Child Left Behind Act, because I highly doubt they'll get rid of it, or maybe if we ever have a chance to vote against it, I hope you guys all vote against it. Thank you.